this is really a win for you?
Look, I don't view this as a day to celebrate. It's just a matter of standing up for New York and hopefully beginning a long overdue conversation nationally about whether these corporate incentive and subsidy programs are worth it. You have the largest company in the country with the richest man on earth heading it, coming to New York, but only if they're able to squeeze out $3 billion of public dollars in order to do so. So I don't think that was worth it. I think the way Amazon reacted to it proved my point, that they were unwilling to deal with legitimate concerns that this community had. They negotiated this deal in secret. And when it was discovered by the public outrage disturbed them. All we did was raise our hand and say, we have some questions about this deal. We don't think it's necessarily a good idea. And instead of dealing with that, they picked up their ball and went home. So it says a lot about them and how they do business.
Tom, you've been following developments all day. What is the latest that you're hearing?
I mean, the latest is that, Goldman Sachs CEO Blankfein came out very critical of the backlash.
I actually have the tweet. After killing Amazon's New York City headquarters, not sure some progressive Democrats deserve either title. This move was both anti-progress, negative for development and tech jobs, and anti-democratic. Polls show 70% of New Yorkers were in favor. Victory lap for them, not for New York City.
I guess I would put the question back on the senator, Gianaris. When it's all said and done, the sense is that the real turning point was the possibility that you were going to join that commission that had veto power over this. What is your, I'd love to hear your reaction to the idea that you were very much the linchpin in getting this deal scuttled.
Well, that's, as much as I like to give myself all sorts of credit, it's a little bit laughable. First of all, as we talk today, I do not sit on this board. I was a nominee. The governor gets to appoint me or decline the appointment. He did not do either, even as of this day, as we're sitting here talking. The fact is there was a surge of opposition. I saw the tweet you just had up there. That 70% figure was a figure by a poll commissioned by Amazon itself, so believe that number if you want. I choose not to because I live in this community and I've talked to people on the streets over the last several months and I know how they feel about this. There was great concern about what it was going to do to the housing market, great concern about the already stressed subway system, the already stressed schools that we had. And there was never, to this day, there was never a dialogue about how is New York City and Long Island City specifically going to accommodate the presence of this giant footprint that they wanted to place there. All they said was, give us the $3 billion. We don't want to talk about any of the rest of it. And if we don't get our way, we're leaving. And so this is how Amazon does business. They did it in Seattle when the city council dared to try and raise some revenue to provide homeless services due to the homelessness crisis that was caused in part by Amazon's effect on the housing market there. They threatened not to finish constructing a building that had already started until the city council rolled it back. Well, Amazon has to learn that they're big, yes, but they're not bigger than New York City, and they should not be bigger than any government body in this country that speaks for its people. They don't get to dictate to governments what they need. They should work collaboratively and like real corporate, like responsible corporate citizens when they want to enter a community.
Senator, fair point there on the way Amazon characterized support. Amazon says 70% of New Yorkers supported this. We looked at an independent poll that says 57% of New Yorkers support this. But then when you look at the second question about whether they support $3 billion in financial incentives, they're more split. Right. 46% support that. So that said, there was potential here if you had worked it out. Now you haven't worked it out. Amazon has pulled out. Is that a loss for New York?
Well, look, we always like jobs and job growth, and this was an opportunity that may or may not be presenting itself. By the way, in their statement announcing this decision, they also said they're going to continue to grow their presence at other New York City locations where they already have a presence. So one wonders how many people are going to be grown into those other areas without the promise of any of these incentives at all, and how much that will compensate for this decision. But we also should put it in context. New York City, over the last decade or more, has been growing new jobs at a rate of about 90,000 per year. So when you talk about 25,000 jobs over 10 to 15 years, which is what this was, it's about 2% of the normal job growth in New York City. So it's not insignificant. We all want jobs and greater employment, but it's also not some earth-shattering situation the way it's been presented.
Senator Gianaris, this is Tom again. We've done some analysis that shows that potential tax receipts, income taxes from the individuals that would have moved to New York, the different corporate taxes that you would have been able to collect from Amazon would really have washed away that $3 billion in incentives. Isn't that, in a sense, I mean, aren't we talking about tax receipts that could have been used to improve the infrastructure, the subway, and in turn create more jobs for New York?
Well, it's an interesting argument, except I would say to you that New York City has been growing over the last decade, and yet the misplaced priorities of decision makers has not led to investment in that critical infrastructure. And so I have no reason to believe this would be any different in this case. At the end of the day, this was a giveaway to a corporation that demanded it in order to come here. And the deal never should have been made in the first place. And once it was, when people who would be most affected by it said, let's put a pause on this and discuss what this means for all of us, they decided to leave.
Now, Senator, I asked Councilman Van Bramer this earlier on the show. All of this considered, everything you've just said, do you have any concerns about the political consequences now for you?
No, I don't. I don't do things because of the political benefit or consequences. I'm doing the best thing for my community, and ultimately they're the ones who judge whether I get to continue representing them. But I am confident in the way I've comported myself over these last several months as it relates to this deal. This would have been a deal that would devastate the community of Long Island City. There was no consideration, zero consideration about what this would do to the people of Long Island City who would get priced out of their homes, the parents who already don't have enough school seats for their kids, or the commuters who, as it exists today, cannot get on the 7 train on Vernon Boulevard, which is where this facility was going to be built. I can't even fathom what the effect of increasing the population of that community by 50%, which is what this would have done, what that would have done to that neighborhood without any consideration of the effects of those things. And the people spoke up and said, wait a minute, what is this going to mean for us? Who is speaking for us? And the moment someone started speaking for them, Amazon grabbed its suitcase and left. So it tells you a lot about how much they care about the communities they affect. There was a symposium just the other day where a real estate investor flat out said, I don't care about people who are getting displaced because of all the ancillary benefits of this deal. Well, I do care about the people that would be displaced. Those are the people I represent. And the fact that we care about that and ask questions about that should not lead to someone acting like a petulant child and picking up their ball and leaving town, which is what Amazon did here.